Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to another YouTube video, and in today's episode we're going to be talking about something that not a lot of people talk about, especially in the finance space, even though it is the most important thing that you can do. And no, it is not investing for the long term, it's not drop shipping, it's not starting a business, it's none of these things, but it has the utmost importance, and it is exactly what created the financial institution system that we have today. And that is really, really important for you to know, because if you do this, if you do what I'm telling you in this video, and I'm going to explain to you exactly step by step how I do it, how other millionaires and billionaires do it as well, this one thing is going to make you a lot of money. You're going to be able to hold on to more money than you ever have before. And the beautiful thing is you only need to do this about once a month, or maybe even once a quarter or once a year. And in my professional opinion, I would do it about once a month at the very least. Some people do it once a week even, but honestly that can sometimes be overkill. But let's talk about exactly what this is, and then I'm gonna give you the guidelines of how I do it, and then I'm also gonna include a spreadsheet on the way that I do this, so that way you can download something and have a blueprint ready to go without having to pay someone to do this for you or anything like that. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, because it did take a lot of time to put together. And if you do, go smash that like button and also hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, especially if it's your first time to the channel, because this channel is all about your health, your wealth, and your happiness. So without further ado, let's dive into this episode. All right, welcome back. Long time no see. And during that little short break, if you didn't smash the like button, go ahead and do that right now. And you're probably sitting there wondering, what are you talking about? What can make me more money? What can help me save more money and become wealthier? I want to become a millionaire. I want to become a billionaire. What's going to do that? And of course, raising your income, investing, learning about compounding your money, all of that is going to make you wealthier. But this is not that type of episode. This episode is on something that everyone can do. And even if your goal isn't to become a millionaire or billionaire, this will make you wealthier and happier. So what is it, right? All it is budgeting. And you're probably sitting there, oh, that's easy. I do that all the time, or I have an app that does it for me. So let me tell you something about apps. I've used a lot of different apps in my day that help me organize my budgets, do some of my financial planning with the goal of helping limit my spending. But in fact, what ends up happening is I don't check the app very often. Sometimes they will send me alerts that I don't really look at, or I say, oh yeah, I know. And the biggest thing is, I always end up leaving money on the table. But what I realized by doing it manually every single month is I actually give myself a harder time when I'm putting in each expense. And the reason for this, in my opinion, is you're able to see each and every transaction, and then you start thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, maybe I didn't need to go and buy food this day. I didn't need to go to Chipotle, or I didn't need to go to Chick-fil-A, or I didn't need to do this. Why am I paying for this subscription? All these things are more prominent when you do your own budgeting. And it might sound like a big pain in the butt.
Donkey?
But in reality, it's really easy once you have the blueprint. And for me, what I found is really, really useful is to have a spreadsheet that has every single column breaking down exactly what my expenses are, what my income is. I put this in at the end of each and every month, and then I get a total, and this shows me exactly what my fixed expenses are and what my variable expenses are as well. And in reality, the only two things that we can adjust in our day-to-day lives is our income, right? If we ask for a raise at work, if we get a different job, or our variable expenses, which most of us have, whether we like to admit it or not. And cutting these expenses out is what's gonna leave more money in your pocket each month, so you can invest, so you can buy that future property or the home or the stocks or the bonds, or really your family's future. That extra $5 per day that you go out and spend on food that you could have made at home for $2, that can go a long way, especially if you eat out 2, 3, 4 times a day or even a week. Out of every single month, you're probably able to save hundreds of dollars, and every single year that leads to thousands of dollars. And compound interest shows us that that little bit of savings can go a long way when you invest it versus put it into a savings account, or even worse, spending it. So in this next part, I'm gonna show you exactly the spreadsheet that I use in order to calculate my expenses and calculate my income, and it pretty much plugs and plays for me. All I need to do is look at my transaction sheet at my bank and run down exactly, this is for this expense, this is for this expense. And if you want an app that tracks those things and categorizes them, that's that's great. But like I said, doing yourself manually is going to reinforce better habits. If you let an app do it, it's not gonna be as effective and it's not gonna work long term. Apps just don't keep you accountable, unfortunately. What we need to do is sit down and we just need to spend maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour at most, per month, calculating what we spent that month, spending another 10, 15 minutes, kind of feeling bad for the choices that we probably made, especially if you weren't budgeting before, but then creating a plan of action for next month. You can write down your goals, you can write down your rewards for how you're gonna reward yourself after you accomplish this. And if you do this every single month, I promise you, you are gonna live a richer life. And so to make this easy for you, I went ahead and created a spreadsheet specifically for this video, so that way you can go in and plug and play all your expenses, all your income for each month, each week. And I'm also gonna link it down in the description below. So if you want to download this, you'll be able to. It's just gonna be in Google Sheets, and I highly recommend using the template that I have because it's gonna make it really, really easy for you to plug and play. You can make your own, of course, and there are more complex ones, but this is the simplest one and the one that takes the least amount of time to actually plug everything in. So without further ado, let's dive into the spreadsheet. So here we have the budget, and what I like to do is I actually like to put the year that I'm doing the budget in. So for example, this budget is going to be in 2020 or for 2021 maybe. So you can go ahead and plug that in right there. And then once you're ready, you can dive into your expenses. And now I put gas. This could just be fuel, you know, for your car. If you use an electric car or something like that, you can go ahead and plug that in. Then your food, right? Your gym membership, maybe if you have like a spa or something like you like to go to every single month, you plug it in here. Your rent, your telephone, internet, your insurances. Then you have your movies, restaurants, recreational type stuff. I put crypto into mine because I feel like that is separate than the investment category. Even though it is an investment, I just like to separate it so I know exactly how much I have going into this. And I should have put silver in here as well, but you can go ahead and delete this category if you are not an investor in crypto or silver or any coins like that. And then emergency savings, which I think is super, super important, especially for crisis situations. And I have a whole video on emergency savings that I'm actually gonna link up in the top. If you haven't seen it before, there's a video on exactly why you should have an emergency savings. If you don't think you should have one, this is a great, great video. And it's gonna detail exactly why you should have an emergency savings. And last but not least is we have our investments, which is like my Stash, my Robinhood, Acorns, whatever platform you like to use. I put it just under one category and bulk it all into one lump sum together. And then we go ahead and at the end of the month, we're gonna just type in exactly what the dollar amount is for our spending on each category. And if you have more categories, feel free to just right click here and then insert a row either above or below wherever you clicked. And then just add one here. So what's awesome about this spreadsheet is that it's actually going to give you the total. These are monthly unchangeable. So this is pretty much B3 through B7. These are things that you pretty much consistently pay for. Obviously, food is like grocery shopping, right? And restaurants is like going out and eating. So if you order DoorDash, don't put it under food, put it under restaurants, because technically you're going to a restaurant to get that food, right? Or the restaurant is coming to you, and that will become either an unchangeable or extra expenses. And what you will find is having this highlighted in red, and if there's more expenses that are going into your extra expenses that are not investments, and maybe that aren't crypto or silver coins or gold coins, and maybe when you find out that your net income is actually negative, if that's the case, then maybe you need to start pulling money out of where you typically spend your money, right? For example, if you spend more money at restaurants than anything else, maybe you need to spend less next month. And then that way you can plan accordingly for what you want to improve on. And next month, you'll be able to create a similar one and compare the two. And that's what I like to do down here is I can go ahead and do this and duplicate copy. You can actually rename it. So if this was January on sheet 1, this would be February on sheet 2, and then so on and so forth. And you can have 12 of these, and then you just copy this for next year, and then you change the budget to budget 2022 and budget 2023. So this is super, super nice. This will do all the math for you. And then same thing with earnings. If you go ahead and you put in, I made 400 this week, then I made 1600 next week, then I made, 200 this week. And again, this is not going to be inconsistent, especially if you work a regular job. But if you own your own business, it might be inconsistent like this, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, they all look different. But then you say, oh, look, my gross income, $7,700 per month. My net income is $5,390, and that is due to taxes, right? Because this is including pre-tax tax. So if you wanted to remove that, you actually can just go in here and you can just delete this times 7. And I'm just calculating 30% for tax. And again, if you live in a different state or your tax is lower or higher, you can go ahead and adjust that as well. And then that tells me my over and under as well. So 5390 is my current because we didn't put any expenses in. But for example, if we had, two to 300, let's say just say 300, then we had food, maybe it was, $400 for groceries. Then we had gym, which is maybe $50 a month, $40 a month, whatever it might be. And we just plug in some numbers, and at the end of it, and rent could be also mortgage, by the way. And then at the end of this, we have a good idea of what our over under is. And look, we have $3,000 extra, $3,650 to be exact. And if that's the case, we can go ahead and put some money into these 3 categories. Oh my gosh, I would love to put more money into investments this month. The stock market is down. Let's put $2,000 there. Then we have an emergency savings. We don't have any in emergency savings, so I would love to put $1,000 into emergency savings this month. Boom, $650 left over. Maybe I could treat myself to a restaurant next month. Maybe $650 is what I wanted to spend, and that's what I ended up spending. So here we have exactly what you should be doing as far as your budget. Feel free to go down in the description section below, and you can find this spreadsheet available down there. It doesn't cost you anything. It's absolutely free, and you can save it on your Google Sheets and try doing this for maybe a couple months. See how much it helps you, and if it brings you any value, come back to this video and let me know down in the comment section below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. And feel free to follow me on Instagram, linked in the description below as well, and follow any of those links if they interest you. And again, if it's your first time to the channel, go smash that subscribe button so you'll never miss a single video, especially the ones that make you a lot of money. And without further ado, I wish you all the health, wealth, and happiness, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out.